Eddie Kingston's AEW suspension is lifted and his all-out opponent has been revealed. Plus, a WWE star was released while injured, we're hearing today. And the USA Network has reacted to Triple H's changes to WWE. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Eddie's back, baby. Kingston got suspended just the other week, it was reported. This is following a backstage altercation between himself and Sammy Guevara. It's been confirmed now by Tony Khan that Eddie Kingston will be in action at All Out. Whether he'll be on Dynamite tonight, I would assume so. Yeah. To put something in place for this match.
Possibly.
So I'm reticent to say that this is his in-ring return because he could have a match tonight on Dynamite TE. But certainly he's going to be part of All Out. Who's his opponent for All Out, Jack?
It's a big one, Tom.
It's Sammy Guevara, isn't it?
It's not. It's actually New Japan legend Tomohiro Ishii. Now, they fought recently at New Japan Capital Collision, but this isn't just going to be on All Out. This is going to curiously be on the All Out 0-hour pre-show, which I find a strange decision given that it's such a big match. But it does have minimal build, I guess you could say that. And it is the sort of match, in fairness, that could get a lot of eyes on the pre-show.
Yes, I'm certainly very, very intrigued to have a heavy-hitting match like that. Especially on a night where you're up against NXT. Like, you want to sort of load all the bases where you can. So even the pre-show, the 0-hour pre-show, having Kingston and Ishii batter each other on that is quite a nice idea.
Yes. Sammy Guevara was, however, apparently going to be Eddie's opponent at All Out. That was the plan. But then the recent backstage altercation that led to the suspension meant that the match was scrapped. But this is a decent sub. Get Tomohiro in there. Big Tom.
Perfectly happy to get Big Tomohiro in amongst that. Sammy Guevara has spoken a little bit more about what went down on his latest video blog, where he talked a lot about some of the rumors that are going around and sort of concerned that maybe he is the bad guy, and then he recalls a conversation he had with somebody there that reminded him that he wasn't. He does a bit of soul searching in his latest video blog, but I think things seem to be cool between them now, as cool as they can be.
Fair enough.
It seems, but I guess they're just not going to put them in a match.
Keep them
separated.
Yes, as the Offspring would say. Was that an Offspring reference there?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moving over to the WWE side of things, a slightly concerning story coming out of the gutting of NXT UK from the other week. What's Fightful reported, Jack?
Well, Fightful are reporting something about Flash Morgan Webster, who I think is a very interesting figure at the minute, because two of the releases that I was most gutted about was Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster.
He's on the One Show on Friday, by the way.
Really?
Well, not the One Show. He's on BBC One on Friday.
Really?
Doing a special on wrestling in the UK show.
Oh, very good stuff. Because Andrews had the podcast sort of thing. Yes, it's all very interesting.
I wonder if you'll get cover work at BBC Radio Cymru, because he seems to do a lot of stuff there. I'm happy to teach you the system and give you the logins if you do want to.
Give you the login. Give you those BBC logins.
Give you those BBC logins, mate.
Don't say it on video. But I was sad that they were released because there's about to be this huge show in Cardiff where undoubtedly they would get a huge reception as a pair of South Wales boys. Surely it would.
You would have thought so, but you can see it that way, but there was no momentum behind them outside of NXT UK. And whilst they would have probably been good to have as on the ground ambassadors for the show, they weren't beating the Usos or anything, were they? Let's be honest.
Tune into pictures later on this week. Clash of the Castle pictures there. Don't worry, I've not got them beating the Usos clean. There's a caveat.
Oh, good. That's fine then.
Anyway, it sounds ridiculous, but check it out when it comes out. But
is that David one of your pictures?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'll just say it now, and then people can watch.
Save it.
I'll save it.
We want retention. Save it.
Yes, absolutely. And the video won't be going out yet. I'm silly. But Fightful Select are indeed reporting that Flash Morgan Webster was released by WWE and had re-signed a new deal, but they also learned that Flash Morgan Webster was actually still injured at the time of his WWE release. They say, we've learned that Webster signed an NXT UK deal in 2018, but then upgraded to an NXT deal in 2019 that ran for 3 years. The deal actually expired, and Webster was working on a short extension throughout the summer. However, he re-signed with WWE NXT earlier this year after passing on 2 contracts with pay increases. We're told that Webster signed in order to make sure that he was taken care of during the injury process, but that doesn't seem to be completely the case.
No, Webster's injury sidelined him since October of last year, I seem to recall. And even though he'd been cleared by a surgeon, the physio hadn't cleared him, and he was not at a point to return. And then obviously all that happened with NXT UK happened. WWE tend to avoid releasing injured talent. They've not always done that, but on the whole they do. This is just unfortunate timing. It came at a time where they weren't renewing contracts because they were stopping NXT UK for a while in favor of NXT Europe, and caught in a bit of a moral maze. And Flash Morgan Webster released while injured, which is unfortunate. And I think just if it had just been like an isolated release, then a bit like Steve Austin in 1995 from WCW, then we go, hang on,
that's very dodgy,
rubbish. But I think because this was part of like a wider gutting of a brand, it's still unfortunate. And I hope Flash Morgan Webster gets to a point where he can ply his trade once again on the indie circuit. I know there was a lot of love when his name was brought up as one of those released from a lot of guys within the WWE system. As an innovator, as somebody that can. Who can still do great things and has a lot to offer the independent circuit. So he gets back to it.
He's always seemed to me like someone who really is a great ambassador for wrestling. Like he seems to love wrestling. I've only met him once, and I think I interviewed him when we were doing our World Cup, the WCPW PWWC, Pro Wrestling World Cup. And he was in that World Cup and representing Wales, of course, and was just like, you could tell was just a great guy. And I think somebody who can speak very passionately about wrestling and try and broadcast it to people who might not necessarily be into wrestling as well, which is probably why he's got stuff going on with the BBC.
That's Mark Andrews.
Oh, damn it. It was Mark Andrews. I even said that at the start of this video. Well, I think...
Hey, Flash Morgan Webster might do a show with Mark Andrews.
If you're watching anyone
Mark
from the BBC...
Mark and Flash in the morning.
If any of your pals from the BBC are watching to see what's Tom up to on his wrestling thing, Flash Morgan Webster.
There you go.
Done it again, I've mixed their names up
Do
again.
a double-headed breakfast show and get Danny Luna in there as well. And then
absolutely.
Eddie Dennis to do traffic and travel. Right, let's head over to Impact Wrestling. Some really heartbreaking news coming out of Impact Wrestling. So this is the press statement that they put out. Impact Wrestling star Joe Doering is stepping away from competition to take care of his health. The 40-year-old battled brain cancer 6 years ago. Last weekend at the factory in Dallas, he informed Impact Wrestling management that the disease has returned. Joe will be undergoing surgery in the coming weeks. He said, "They told me in 2016 that I would never wrestle again, and I am proving them wrong. Guess I'm going to have to do it again. I try not to get too sad or emotional about it. Staying positive really helped me the first time, and that's what I'll do again. Please keep me in your thoughts and in your spirits. I hope to get back in the ring again very soon. To the Impact Wrestling locker room, you are family to me, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon." Best wishes to Joe Doering.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an incredible t-shirt. I believe it's an official Joe Doering t-shirt, and it's Joe Doering giving a lariat to a version of himself, and the strength of the lariat is knocking the tumour out of his head.
Right, okay.
It's a phenomenal t-shirt. If it's an official Joe Doering t-shirt, if you want to support Joe Doering, get yourself some merch from Joe Doering and that amazing t-shirt.
What more could... I mean, just best wishes to him and his friends and family.
Absolutely. He is a hoss, he's a beast, and we want to see him back again very, very soon. USA Network, we've heard some stuff about them this week. We heard that Vince Russo working as a consultant for them, which was a strange scratch off of the bingo card of 2022. But Fightful Select have done some digging to find out how USA Network feel about sort of the Triple H era of WWE.
And this is very interesting because we've been learning about the response internally, where WWE, I think, wasn't it, they kind of put out a message to their investors saying things might be a bit worse for a bit.
They sort of want to manage expectations and just go, look, it might be rubbish, so bear with us.
But of course, another interesting link is this one between the product and the TV network. And Fightful are very positive about this. They say they've learned that the immediate WWE changes left the USA Network happy, according to sources. Fightful reached out to several USA Network and Universal sources about the change and the numbers that came with them. One longtime employee that has worked alongside the WWE project said that this was more in line with the numbers the company expected when they extended WWE Raw's TV deal, but the pandemic had changed everything. They reiterated that they had never really imagined a world where Raw was under 2 million viewers outside of holidays, much less consistently. The source said that the following weeks would be the real test, but the results from the first Monday had me personally, me being this source, very excited.
SmackDown, Universal, who host SmackDown on Fox, had similarly exciting things to say. They expect an increase in ratings to come soon soon as well. USA Network sources were also asked about the direction of the show and the content itself, Fightful Select reports. One source stated that they have personally seen the show as more appointment viewing, said it felt more natural, and there's more discussion about the show within the company than there has been since their new rights deal started.
That all exactly mirrors how I feel about Raw as well. I do see it as more like, oh, I've got to see what happens on Raw this week. And I've not felt like that for a long time.
Isn't it nice to feel like that again?
Yes, it is.
It really is. A long-time employee of the USA Network, says Fightful Select, said that the USA WWE relationship has long been an easygoing business as usual one. However, they said many in the company were happy to see creative changes regardless implemented in August after Triple H took over at the end of things. That same source indicated that they'd be surprised if USA didn't make a play to renew programming next year when negotiations were likely to start. They believe WWE has put themselves in an even better position than last month.
It's time to play the game.
It's almost like he had good ideas the whole time.
Yes, almost.
It's almost like maybe there's something in it. I feel like this is still very much a honeymoon period. Where fans, like lapsed fans, are sort of poking their head around the door and going, oh, Triple H is running it now. What's happened here? So there's very much a honeymoon period here. I expect there to be a little dip again over time because what has to happen now is that new stars have to be made, because this is always going to be the thing that WWE had to do, was to make new stars. It's fine to shotgun your Goldbergs, your Brock Lesnars, but really, to see a long-term benefit to the company, you've got to grow people from within.
Yes.
And I think that's what Triple H and co really have the idea to do. But it's a long game to get there. So I'm expecting there to be a bit of a dip. I'm expecting some sort of the more casual, less easy to please fans to go, oh, this is rubbish, rubbish, AEW. I'm expecting all that to happen again, like sort of like after December, heading into the Rumble. I think the Rumble will then win people back.
Yeah.
And then sort of from WrestleMania, we'll have another boost again. So I think that's how it's going to go.
It'll be very interesting. I think generally, the way I look at it is the Triple H, I think you're totally right that we are currently in a honeymoon period, which will inevitably dip at some point, but for how long and how far, that's the question. But I think generally, he's kind of raised the floor a little bit. Like, you tune into Raw and you're not sure how good it's maybe going to be, but you know that it'll definitely be of a generally higher standard than what we've seen before. At least that's my own personal taste, but I think that's I think a lot of people share the same sentiment as well.
I've really been enjoying Raw. More of that, please. Thank you very much. Check out a list of 10 times that WWE has completely dropped the ball on babyfaces.
Oh, good.
That's a great thing that dropped last night. Some awful babyface runs.
I love the thumbnail. It's Randy Orton, babyface Randy Orton in a suit, looking like the biggest heel in the world.
2004 world champion.
Yeah.
They had him for 3 weeks as world champion, and they went, nah, we'll leave that. But see if you agree with our list. It's at youtube.com/Cultaholic right now, and we'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.